thank you, everyone. Good morning, everyone, first, and thank you for joining this webinar. I will directly start my presentation. So, as an introduction to the KeyMark, so we need to start with the base. The idea of the KeyMark in general was prepared and set up by Senelec. So today the KeyMark is owned by Sen and is managed by Sen. And what is important to know is that the KeyMark quality scheme processes are the base for a certification, and this certification will be granted by following a certification process that will demonstrate and confirm compliance with European standards and eco-design requirements. And in general, the KeyMark quality mark is issued and delivered by empowered certification bodies. So it's not an auto declaration or second party certification, but it's a true third certification party. So as a rule, because we are still in the general concept of the KeyMark, as a rule, the KeyMark was developed and taught by Sen, as I said earlier, to support any quality product or even a service. The only condition is that there is a European standard that exists to support this scheme or this product certification. And as a direct consequence, the KeyMark is covering several different products from different sectors. So the most common ones that you heard about maybe is the solar products, the photovoltaic. Then you have also the insulation that is quite popular. You will see I have a slide dedicated to these programs, and you can see how important they are. You have the thermostatic radiators, for example, ceramics, and last but not least, we have the heat pumps that are also covered for now almost a decade with the KeyMark certification. So now let's focus. We were in the KeyMark concept in general and the ownership, and now we are going to focus on the KeyMark dedicated to the specific sector of the heat pumps. So we have a KeyMark certification scheme for heat pumps, and we organized this certification with different groups. So we have the heat pump scheme group that is overlooking at all the certification scheme for heat pumps. We have a steering committee that is working, let's say, in details on the requirements, on the rules, and managing the general certification process. And we have the Secretariat, which I am part of, coordinating the work of the scheme group and the steering committee. But we are not alone doing this. Of course, the scheme group and steering committee are involving all the stakeholders. It means that we are involving the manufacturers, we are involving the testing laboratories, the certification bodies, and of course the European Heat Pump Association, bringing also input, as Danae explained. We have the policy part, the projects. So we are also feeding this Heat Pump KEYMARK scheme. So all this work all the work done in the context of the Heat Pump KEYMARK certification scheme is supervised by the SEN, that is the owner of the scheme. But to simplify this supervision and the follow-up and the support from SEN is delegating this work to what we call KMO, which is a KeyMark management organization. So there is very clear and strict conditions to be this KMO. And today, the KMO, for example, is managed by the InsertCo. Come back to the KeyMark Secretariat, where I'm sitting. So to give you a brief idea of what we're doing. So we are coordinating, as I said, the working groups, but not only. So our main task is really to work on the recognition, because that's the main idea of SEN creating the KeyMark, is to harmonize the certification market. And that's the main goal, and that's the main idea, to facilitate the manufacturers to be on the same level of quality, to facilitate the entry to the markets, and also, and not this is also very important, is that it will ease also the consumer to understand when they will buy a product or an equipment in this situation. Our second objective as a Keymark Secretariat is also to make the brand known and recognized. So this is also very important from the consumer side, or the regulator, or even the installer, or someone who is controlling an installation. Looking at this mark, they will feel confident that this product is monitored and is of a certain level of quality. And finally, the third point is improved database. So we give access, I will explain it later, give access to the information related to the performance of a heat pump. So for the consumer, regulator, again, installer in general, so they know what's the performance of a heat pump that is certified. So we are trying to ease and to facilitate access to this information through the database that we have. This is a slide to summarize where we are today. So I wanted to share with you some trends for the heat pump as a Keymark certification. We have some important points to share with you. Just last year, we recorded the highest number of new certificates since we launched the scheme a decade ago. And also the importance of the Keymark certification is increasing due to also the fact that the heat pump is now considered as a solid option to face energy market pressure, decarbonization efforts, and also aligned with all what the European Commission is working and proposing in this context. We have also this growing recognition is due to also solid communication plan from the Keymark Secretariat. And finally, this is really the last point in terms of trends, is that we see a growing interest in the scheme from both sides, the manufacturing, but also the testing, inspection, and certification, the TIC sectors, that are really looking at being involved and engaged in this quality scheme. Now I will move to the scope and the products specification classification. I will briefly go through this. If you need more information, you can go to our rules that are online, available online, and you can also ask your certification body if you need more, if you have more questions. So briefly, any heat pump that is used for heating purpose or for domestic hot water production can be covered by this standard. And any types that are coming through innovation can always be included in the scope of the certification. So if you have any type that is not covered by the scope of the certification, you can always address to the Secretariat or directly to the steering committee and propose to have your product, your design included in the certification process. Also, very briefly, the classification, you need to know that we have defined what we call a type. We have also a subtype and a model. So we have three parameters that are defining your heat pump, but the type, subtype, and the model can be discussed with your certification body and the laboratory, and they can really take your range of products to be certified, and they can discuss how they will classify and put them in families according to the type, subtype, and model. So do not hesitate to contact your certification body and your laboratory. In terms of standards and references, so as I said, a Keymark can exist only if standards, European standards, are available. And Mario will go through these standards when explaining the type of testing. So you have here the list of all the EN standards that are used and referred to make the testing and to check the conformity and to confirm the performance. but you don't have only standards, European standards, but you have also some Commission regulation that are linked to the eco design, and energy labeling. So what you need to know is that when the KEYMARK was thought and developed, it was the idea is to align with the eco design requirements. So to make sure that the industry is aligning with the requirements of the eco design. So there is the eco design and then the European standards specifically defining how to test, what to test, in which conditions. Now we move to the certification process. So I explained that the KEYMARK is a third-party certification process. It means that the laboratory and the certification body are completely independent from the manufacturer or the industry that is asking for certification. This is what it means, third-party certification, at the opposite of a second party or a self-declaration. So to guarantee this third-party certification, the certification body needs to be ISO 17065, and the laboratory needs to be ISO 17025. And in the scope of this ISO 17025, they need to have all the standards that I showed two slides earlier. In terms of certification decision, so we have 10 certification bodies today that are capable to and recognized formally to deliver a certification for the KEYMARK for the heat pumps. And we have 30 laboratories capable to also do the testing and provide the test reports to the certification body who will take the certification decision. The good thing for this 30 certification bodies is that geographically we have a nice repartition of these laboratories, so it helps, it facilitates also the choice for any manufacturer who wants to test and certify their product. Now the certification process itself, because I'm talking about certification process, but it's only now that you see the picture. It's a classical certification process, so you have to apply as a manufacturer, or a distributor can also apply by approaching one of the 10 certification bodies that I showed in the slide. Then there will be a discussion about your products. They will start to define the family of products, what needs to be tested, how they will be tested, through which period of time you need to have this testing done, and so on. And after discussing and defining your products to be certified with the certification body, the certification body will then will invite you to approach the inspection part. So we will have to do an audit of the production location, and at the same time we will start to look at the sampling. So we will start to select some equipment to think about the testing. So this equipment will be sent, and then you will move to step number 3 for testing. When the testing will be completed, the test report and the audit report will be sent to the certification body that you choose, and the certification body will finalize the certification process by reviewing the audit report and the test report, and they will make their certification decision and will deliver the certification. Number 5 is the annual monitoring. So KEYMARK is a third-party certification. It means that there is testing, audits, and there is a monitoring. So every year we will have to do an audit, and depending on the configuration that you have and your planning you have for your testing, you will have eventually some testing. It depends, but you will have definitely one annual audit to monitor and to maintain the quality of your products, to maintain the quality of your documents, to maintain the quality of your management quality documents. That's why we do that. It is also sometimes a question that is coming, so I added this slide prepared by Dean Sertco. Thanks to them for that. When I said that you will contact the certification body, you will do the audit, and also part of your work in this process is that as a manufacturer, you will enter on the database, you will declare the values of the heat pump, and the certification body will review these values that will be used for the calculation and combined with the testing. So it is important to know that you will have access to a database that is quite clear, relatively clear, to enter your values. But if you have questions, you can always ask the certification body. So it's important to know that you will enter in a database your data that will be reviewed and approved by the certification body. This is another question that is coming sometimes. So as a manufacturer, as the main certificate holder, you will have the certificate, but a distributor, but you will have the opportunity to have this certificate with a different name, or to have a distributor. You can have an extension of your certificate, and this is what they call the OBL. So you can have also an extension of the certificate, and this has to be done with the certificate holder, of course, and the certification body. So you will be kind of three in the same document, agreeing of what will be the additional name, who will have this extension of the certificate. So this is definitely possible. This last presentation about recognition, and indeed the first slide that I will show you about recognition is to share with you these numbers that they speak for themselves, where you see the growth of the number of certificate holder. So within a year, this is the comparison in June 2022 with the June 2023 numbers, and you can see that the number of certificate holders increased by 40%. We have today 106 certificate holders, so 106, let's say, companies, businesses are certified and referring and using the Keymark to demonstrate quality and to demonstrate performance. These certifications, these 106 certificate holders propose to the market 1,487 certificates. It represents 1,587 certificates, again, an increase in 1 year of 38% of the number of certificates. And these certificates are covering almost 7,000 models that are certified. So it's a 40% increase in 1 year of the number of models that are covered by Heat Pump KEYMARK certificates. So these numbers, we can have a lot of conclusions, but if we focus on the recognition, this is demonstrating clearly that the Keymark is matching the main objective of recognition, of harmonization, and to have it as the unique way of and solid way of demonstrating quality again, and to be referred to in different subsidies or in any market when there is a need to demonstrate quality or performance of heat pump equipment. So I showed you a comparison year to year, and I can show you how these certificates was evolving from the first certificate that was issued to Daikin back in 2016, as Tom was explaining, and where we in 2022, I said earlier today when we opened this webinar that we have a new record in terms of annual new certificates. We have exceeded the number of 300. So in 2022, and just to give you an idea of the trend, just in Q1, so the first quarter of this year, we have already recorded 100, more than 100 new certificates. So the trend is still quite importantly growing, let's say, and this is very important also to demonstrate the recognition of the scheme in Europe. To summarize, to give you an overview of the recognition, I think now you start to be familiar with this map. Formally, we have 10 countries in Europe that is recognizing formally the KEYMARK and referring to the KEYMARK. We had recently, early this year, the Netherlands joining the group of the KEYMARK users, let's say. And for the Netherlands, we are finalizing the recognition to include also the domestic hot water. So the discussion are ongoing. We have also opening new discussions with other countries in the Nordics and in Europe to have this the scheme also recognized and adopted formally, and to have it as a reference because it is adopted, it is used almost in any country in the Eurozone or even beyond. But what is interesting, and I fully hear what Tom was referring to, is to have this KEYMARK scheme referenced in the subsidies or any initiatives related to support the installations of a heat pump. So this is definitely our work is really to expose as much as we can the KEYMARK scheme. So work in progress. The recognition is there, but we need to develop further, and we need to have the KEYMARK also recognized when there is, let's say, a scheme or a requirement already in place at a country level. I think a good example to illustrate what I'm trying to explain is the HPA quality label. So quality label is referred in specific countries like Austria and Switzerland. So we are building a very strong link between the quality label and the KEYMARK to not confuse the market. So first of all, definitely, if you have the KEYMARK, you can apply for a quality label, and de facto, it means that you don't have to do something specific except to apply to the quality label and to obtain the quality label. So somehow the KEYMARK is recognized in those markets, even if they are not referring directly to the KEYMARK. So the KEYMARK remain the foundation of any certification or quality requirements. This is very important to understand. We will have always these differences, these additional requirements from a country or from subsidy plan that will require something additional that is specific to a local situation or regional requirement. But these are these little differences that we keep on trying to raise to have a lean or a fully aligned requirements. It's not easy. We are in Europe. That's not. It's not new. It's not only specific to the KEYMARK and the heat pumps sector. So I wanted to show you also the KEYMARK in terms of recognition and how where the heat pump sector is in the middle of all these KEYMARK certificates with the thermal insulation or the solar. You can see that we are now as a heat pump KEYMARK sector representing 32% of all the certificates that are issued for the KEYMARK schemes. So this is also first a proof that the heat pump KEYMARK sector is very attentive to the quality, to demonstrate performance, to align with the requirements that are dictated and elaborated by eco design, and then the European standards that are also developed. So this is very important to see that we are really in a good position, in a good seat in terms of recognition and in terms of KEYMARK as a KEYMARK heat pump. It is important to see that we are positioned in this ranking, let's say. We talked about the KEYMARK recognition. What is key as well is the development and the visibility and the access to the data for the consumer, for regulator, for an installer. So for your information, we have a dedicated website. We have also, you will have a free access to anyone who wants to look at a certificate, to look at a reference. We can do a search. we can go, we can download the certificate, we can ask questions to the Secretariat or to the certification body about a specific model or a subtype or any testing or performance that was done. So we have this important transparency that makes also the recognition even stronger. The fact that we can have one centralized database where you can find all the information about the products. And I can tell you that this database is in work in progress, because we are always trying to improve the database with the communication team for at the HPA. We are trying to have different languages to translate, to add additional information, to link this database with eventually another database. So that's continuously what we're trying to do. This is some screenshots of the database. I will finish just to remind the simple benefits. Straightforward third-party certification supports purchasing decisions. This is obvious, and most of all, we look at the purchasing decision. We want to speed up the purchasing decision for some parts of the stakeholders, but also what is important is that we give confidence to the consumer that they are buying a product that is of quality and that is also energy consumption responsible, and this is very important. The quality mark can be used again. This is really the key to enter this the main markets, European markets. We are still working again to open even other and to build other bridges with subsidies or any quality requirements that may arise that may be in place. This is definitely something we're doing. And important, the third point, and it reflects and it takes back to our mission as a Secretariat, is to have the transparency of the scheme. So the certificate holders, the certified products are publicly visible and accessible. So this is also part of the base of having a strong recognition in Europe, which is the case today.